back to another episode of Spurs This Week. I'm Toby from _Spurs Center, and today I'm joined by Bodhi from Hotspur.industry. How you doing, Bodhi?
I'm doing good, thanks. You?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Today we're going to be reviewing the disastrous draw against Fulham, and then the bounce back and the win against Sheffield United. So let's get right into it. Let's start with Fulham. Immediate thoughts after that match.
I was extremely disappointed. To be honest, with the form we've been on, I kind of expected the result we were going to get, but it was still frustrating to know that it happened.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't really say much on it because it was just disappointing.
Yeah, it was really disappointing.
Yeah.
I think let's just jump right into the comments from the post on our Instagram. Follow at Spurs This Week on Instagram, and then we'll post and you can leave comments, which we will review on the podcast. But we got quite a lot about this one, so I figured we should get started with it earlier rather than later. So first one from Mr_B_Locks. Shocking. I'm sick of it. Same thing every time, no matter who we play. And don't tell me about the keeper making saves. It was poor. So yeah, I mean, ultimately it was a poor performance. Their keeper did make a few good saves, but I mean, ultimately we should be able to score more than one goal against Fulham. That was just really disappointing.
Yeah, I really agree with you there. I mean, we have one of the best keepers in the league. Well, one of the best in the world. I mean, we have one of the best keepers in the league, if not that's the world. And you know, the keeper can only do so much. And with, you know, the defensive lineup, I mean, it doesn't work. Now, I know I'm gonna get stick from you and, you know, Charlie for this, but it was Sanchez again.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm not gonna say it was all Sanchez's fault, but
it was a fair bit of Dyer too. But
as a centre back, that's a 1-on-1 you should be winning, and the fact that he let that cross past, it was poor. It was poor defending from, you know, to stop the header from Dyer. But what can you blame them? Like, they were they're getting paid 100,000 a week. You know, maybe a little less, but around that. You know, these are top tier, like, you know, the best in the world. You know, and then they're doing that in 1v1 situations. We were considered title contenders. I don't think we are anymore. I think we're definitely top 4, top 3 maybe, but we're not title contenders. We were our fan base was considering us title contenders, and then when you have a player like when you have Sanchez, who, don't get me wrong, he had a solid game, right? I'm not gonna take that away from his overall performance. He had a great game, but he's so mistake-prone. Every game he makes at least one mistake, and I knew it was a matter of time before he made it, and he made that mistake in losing the 1v1. If he didn't lose that 1v1 and we never conceded that goal, he would have been one of my man of the matches. But because of that, he basically conceded us that goal with that poor 50-50. And then Davies blocking from a back post. What was he doing? What was he doing? What was his man? He was meant to mark him.
I think that was it was Dyer who was supposed to mark him. Davis was in the area. He should have read it as well, but I think it was Dyer's man. But I mean, it was both of our center backs switched off. Sanchez allowed himself to get turned and allowed the cross to come in, and then Dyer lost his man, and he just.
And yes, it was Dyer's fault as well, but I don't blame him. I don't blame him as much as Sanchez, because we all know that Sanchez does this every game. You know, Dyer has level consistency. Every now and then he'll make one mistake per game, but overall, you know, he's like, at the moment he's our best centre back without a doubt. You know, people talking about Joe Rodon. He only played one game, so I'm not going to say it instantly. He played one game. Based on just overall form, Dyer's been our best centre back, which is why you can't blame him, because every player makes mistakes. But when you're at that level and you're making that many mistakes, you're making at least one mistake per game. Like, how can you be at the club? I mean, if you really want to be title contenders, I'm sorry if it upsets you, but Sanchez has to go. He just has to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I tried to back Sanchez for a really long time, and now I'm at the point where I don't see the point. He had so much potential, but I feel like he had all the physical qualities. He had the pace. He had the strength. He still has that, but his football IQ is just it's not at a high enough level, and his pace and the strength that like nothing can compensate for having like a low football IQ. Because I mean he steps out of position so often. He loses his man. And I felt like that was something like he'd get it over the years, but he hasn't really. So
yeah,
I think it is time to move him on. And we have some great center backs. I mean, waiting in the reserves. Joe Rodon, who was he played exceptional against Chelsea. He played very well against Sheffield United as well. And then we have Tanganga, who is academy. He's a great player. I'm a really big fan of him as well. And then we have Alderweireld and Dyer. So I mean, we are pretty set in the center back position. I mean, obviously we want to make that like big center back signing, but that won't likely happen until next summer at least.
I know this sounds controversial, but I really don't think Milan Skriniar is the player we need to sign. I feel like he's just a player that's been overhyped by the media. I think we need someone that's proven, very, very, very good centre back. One that you can pay 60 mil and you'll know that you're making the price. Because if we knew he was good enough for the 60 million price tag, we would have signed Skriniar. Like, that's what that would have happened. He wasn't being stingy because of lack of money. He just Fabrizio Romano even said on Twitter it was because they didn't think he was worth the money. I think we need someone really good, or we could go down another route where we go for another championship centre back like Joe Rodon, because he seems to be doing all right for himself. We could go for someone completely unknown, small fee, get an absolute weapon that no one knows about, because we have one of the best scouting systems in the world, so that could happen. Or we could go for Eder Militao. He's been rumoured from Spurs a lot, And see, I'm not just saying this because people play FIFA and he's pacey. Militao is a very good centre back. I've seen him play. He's very good.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen too much of him, but I mean, he seems good. He has the attributes. But I mean, once again, like I don't know, I haven't seen too much of him, so I don't know, like if he has the like positional sense of the football IQ. I am sure that he does. But
he does. He's not. I think he's a fantastic centre back. It's just he's not mentioned enough because Real Madrid have two of the best centre backs in the world. They have Ramos and Varane at the back. So, how is Militao going to be able to replace them? He's 22 years old. He's still young. We could get him for a fee of about 30 million, same as Sergio Reguilon, and he could end up being just as good, if not better. So he's a huge option to go for.
Yeah, I agree. We got kind of off topic there, so I think let's bring it back to the next comment. This is a long one, but instantly knew that it was going to be a bad result after seeing the lineup. Playing three defensive midfielders against the bottom 14. When we took off Domblé, we had no creativity. The tactics are awful. Sissoko as a right mid when we have Lucas and Bale on the bench. Go one goal up and sit back. Knew we were going to concede from the 55th minute, but what did Mourinho do? Nothing. He's a reactive manager. Only changed after the goal. Needs to be proactive. Fulham outclassed us second half. We don't have a lot of chances because of the poor football, but when we did, we squandered them. So I think, we did miss a lot of chances. I mean, I think I saw something that was like 7 big chances created, 6 big chances missed.
I must say, based on how long we've had Jose, I think I'm able to have a pretty good evaluation on him. I think he can be, if he sees the talent in a player, he's very committed to them. But if it's someone like Dele Alli who he doesn't believe in, he just doesn't give a crap. He just lies on his ass, he's lazy, and then I don't blame the players for that. I mean, sitting back after one goal, but there's no chance that Harry Kane and Son and all, these are the best attacking footballers in the world, right?
Well,
there's no way they're sitting back unless Jose Mourinho told them to. I refuse to believe that they would do that.
Yeah, Well, I mean, to be fair, like I said earlier, I
But
mean, there were 7 big chances created and 6 big chances missed. I mean, Son, if he had scored that goal, we would have won the game. The one that hit the post where he had the breakaway. So I mean, we did have multiple chances where we could have put ourselves in front. So I mean, you can put it down to Mourinho's tactics, but I think that players also have to bear some responsibility because, I mean, like we said earlier, Sanchez and Dyer switched off for the Fulham goal. We missed some big chances. So I mean, I think the blame can be placed on both Mourinho and the players. But
yeah,
another
I
thing,
agree.
like,
It's so frustrating to have Jose as your manager because he doesn't hold himself accountable, but when he does make his own mistakes, he just blames the
mhm,
players, and that's the most annoying thing about having him as the manager is how much he's been blaming the players. I don't think like sure, yeah, the players can be held accountable for some actions, right? Like, having a
mhm,
poor 50-50 like Sanchez did, that's his fault. Like Jose isn't
mhm,
telling them to mess it up. But you you can't blame your players for everything that happens. You know,
yeah,
you can guarantee a lot of that will be his fault. He uses Deli as a scapegoat. He just decides to blame it on him when he has no one else to blame it on himself. He just
yeah.
decides, oh yeah, he done a fancy flick and it didn't work. Oh yeah, we'll just blame Deli.
Mhm. I think our biggest issue, or at least one of our biggest issues, came when Dombele was taken off. Because I mean,
And
I
Donbley
think
played full 90. He scored an absolute screamer, and then we won 3-1. I mean, yeah, that
yeah,
says enough.
but against Fulham, I mean, he was taken off with 10 minutes to go, just about, and um, we don't have that outlet to bring us from defense to offense when we don't have Dombele on the field. Lo Celso can do it, but I think it's really hurt us that Lo Celso is out injured right now, um, because I think Lo Celso and Dombele are the only players who can really bring the ball from defense and then create an opportunity for either Kane
Yeah,
or
but that's
Son
not.
in
That's
space.
not. I don't think that's not what we need. We need a final third attacking midfielder, someone like Bruno Fernandes that can create space from absolutely nothing. You know,
Well, I mean, I don't think
I know Bruno does get overhyped at some points, but you can't deny he's been on form this season. He's been one of the best in the league.
he disappears in big games though.
Yeah,
Um,
but
but I think we like De Bruyne, like that type of player. But
we need someone that can run the full 90, be all over the pitch, ping balls in
yeah,
left, right, center. You know, someone like Coutinho, or
I don't
even
think he would run all over for us.
yeah, yes, he would.
Mm.
Did you see what he done for Liverpool?
Yeah, that was for Liverpool, and that was a while ago. Um,
Yeah, he
anyway,
still got it.
getting
Every player still has it.
getting back on track. Let's move on to our next comment. Um, this is from Bartek_123. We should play like this when we lose a goal. Play this when we. Why don't we play like this when we won 3-0? I am very disappointed. I think he's saying when we play like this, we always get conceded on, and that we should only play like this when we're winning 3-0. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all disappointed. And yeah, I don't think that we can just sit back. Although, like, this is what I keep coming back to is like we sit back and then we have these lethal counterattacks. And today it was Son who missed a breakaway. Against Liverpool, it was Bergwijn who missed a breakaway. And so Kane, I think, missed an open header. So I mean, you can't really blame Kane or Son. They've been on such fine form this season. But I mean, we need our forwards when they're in those positions. We need them to score. So, or we need a third source of goals, which is what we were just talking about with an attacking mid. But another thing I want to mention is, do you think that Tanguy Ndombele can become our third source of goals following his goal against Wolves and his goal against Sheffield?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think he'll always pop a good goal here and then, but he's not. He's not that type of player. Or Jose has turned him into a deep line playmaker, someone who can take the ball deep, carry it up the field, find a pass. Fancy. Not flicks, but improvisation skill to beat the man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he'll play it simple when he can, but when he has to, improvise, he's so good at that, and I think that's something that Jose really likes. Højbjerg is strong and sturdy, but he's not able to improvise from a tight space. He always has to pass back. But players like Ndombele is also able to carry it upfield, and they're more goal providers rather than the ones actually scoring. So no, I don't see that happening. But he's a great player.
Yeah, he's a great player. I do see what you're saying, but I mean, I think that he could potentially chip in with 7 to like 8 or 9 Premier League goals a season. I mean, this season he's on. I guess he's only on 3, and we're just about halfway. So yeah, I mean, I could see him, turning up in the second half of the season and chipping in with a few more goals. But I do think we need someone who could hit like 10 to 15 goals from midfield, especially when we're relying on Kane and Son so heavily. It just opens up more space for the pair of them because defenders have to mark our attacking mid who's going to be chipping in with those goals. But at this point in time, I mean, when oppositions lock down Kane and Son, they lock down Spurs. And I think that's the biggest issue we're facing right now, along with our center backs. But let's move right along to our next comment from Elliot's Durgan. Elliot's O'Durgan. Sissoko was so disappointing. I mean, I am not the biggest fan of Sissoko, I'll be honest. I think I prefer Harry Winks to him. But I think when we're playing against teams like Fulham or Sheffield, or just generally teams that are in the bottom half, it's better to have a player who is more comfortable with the ball at their feet, someone like Harry Winks, rather than someone who is someone like Sissoko, who doesn't seem as comfortable with the ball at his feet. But when we're playing like traditional Big Six teams or Leicester or like Aston Villa or someone who are going to be playing on the counterattack, I think it's better to have Sissoko because he can make those like long driving runs when he has that space to counterattack into, rather than Harry Winks. But Sissoko against these smaller teams who just sit back, I think he just gets lost. Against Marine, I didn't think he was very good. Against Fulham, I didn't think he was very good. Against like Burnley, going back into the beginning of the season, Burnley, West Brom, I didn't think he was great there either. So I think having someone like Harry Winks is better. But then against Liverpool and Man City and Arsenal, I thought Sissoko was better.
I think neither of them are, good for the small teams.
You don't think so?
No, I think Harry Winks. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Harry Winks fits our style of play. He passes backwards or to the sides. I barely see him, play a ball up. He passes a lot and he's consistent with it. He makes very minimal mistakes, but he never progresses anything in attack or defense. Mm-hmm. He doesn't help the team in any way.
I think that's a bit harsh. I mean, a lot of the time, this season, I think it's kind of stereotypical to say that Harry Winks never passes the ball forward. But this season, I feel like if you've really watched him, he's done a better job of trying to move the ball forwards, getting the ball in deep areas, and then playing them out, like maybe out wide just to Reguilon, but like playing it just a little forwards, and then Reguilon has more space on the outside, or playing it to Aurier, or playing the ball into Ndombele. Yeah, because at the end of the day, his job is just to get the ball to players who can do the damage, whether that be Reguilon, Son, Kane, Ndombele, Bergwijn. He hasn't done exceptional this season, but
that's not how it works. You can't. Yeah, he's getting better, but that doesn't mean he's good enough. You don't.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm just saying that I think he's better than Sissoko.
Everyone gets the gold medal for effort. That you have to have that in your locker where you're able to do that, and just playing it out to Reguilon or Aurier. Any player at this level realistically should be able to do that. I mean, it's not difficult. So
mm-hmm.
I get what you're saying, but I really don't think that. I personally don't agree. I think Sissoko, he's big, strong. He's really
he's big and strong, but I feel like he loses the ball more often.
Yeah, he loses the ball, but he's got such a good drive about him. He's able to get back instantly, even if he does lose the ball. He may be less consistent, but at least he attempts things, and at least he's able to get back. But if he does lose the ball, if his teammates lose the ball, he's always there. He's always back. And and him and Højbjerg are the best. The best defensive partnership we have. Whether you agree or not.
I agree that Sissoko and Højbjerg are the best defensive partnership, but I feel that we rely too heavily on Son and Kane and Ndombele when we have Sissoko and Højbjerg. Højbjerg has actually chipped in a couple times this season with assists, but it's just Winks. I feel like on the ball, he's better for the team than Sissoko.
That doesn't matter though, because you don't need to rely on other players when you have these top quality players. It's not like
because we're not creating enough.
It's not like we're going to say, okay, we have Harry Kane and Heung-min Son fully fit, but we still need more players that can do that. I mean, these are two of the best players in the world. Why would we need to find more players like that when we already got two of the best? We need.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. We need
quality players that can do the job, and will be able to set up these players, and that's what Reguilon with the header done. And Ore, he's got a good delivering, and then Ndombele is always able to create for Son, and then Kane to Son, and it's a whole thing. Mourinho's got worked out with the whole planning and the tactics. It doesn't involve midfielders other than Ndombele and this also getting up the pitch and helping out. It's I agree with this with Jose. Jose's seen it as, we got two of the best players of the world. We're going to use them. We're not going to just go ahead in the transfer window, buy more players like them, and then just have all these world beaters on the team, because that's not how football works. You can't just do that. So he's used what he has and then just built on it. And that's worked. I know it's getting off topic, but I just think Jose, I think Musa suits Jose's style better, and his overall, he's more well-rounded.
I disagree with that. I don't think Sissoko is okay. Here, this is the last thing we'll say on it because we have to start getting to the other comments. But I don't think that Sissoko is more well-rounded than Winks. I think Winks is a little more well-rounded. He has better touch. I think he has a little bit better positional sense. His passing's a little better. But we should probably get into the next comment because we have quite a few of these to go. From Xander_Watson44. Shit, mate. Jose needs a fucking talking to about these lineup selections. Takes the piss. And yes, I agree that actually I'm just going to say these next two because they're pretty much the same. From Sam Slater 88. We set up as if we are scared of Fulham. They played 3 stadiums against a side that have minimal creativity through the middle. And this is pretty much the same thing too. From Josh Cook 111. How can we start a game against Fulham with Højbjerg, Winks, and Sissoko? Nothing against them, but it's such a negative midfield to start a game with. Also, imagine being Gareth Bale and watching Lamela get subbed out while you sit on the bench. Poor. Sissoko shouldn't be trusted as he is, from Alfie Styles _. And yeah, so those are all basically the same. But I do think that starting with 3 CDMs was a mistake. I don't understand why we would have done that. Having someone on the field like Lamela or Bale or Lucas Moura, I think that would have just offered.
I don't think Winks is good enough defensively to call him a CDM.
Yeah, I mean, well, but he's not really that's like, he plays in the deep role. I think that's what they mean. Yeah, he's probably not good enough defensively to be called a CDM.
I still think people call him Winks a CDM. I really don't think he's good enough defensively to call him that. It's just not something that's a part of his game. It's more, I see him as more, if he was playing really, really well, I would have saw him as more of an attacking player. But because he's lacking confidence, it's difficult to explain. I think if he was, playing at his best, I would see him as more of a, centre mid drifting into a central attacking mid sort of player. But he's too scared to play those passes, up front. He's too scared that he's going to lose the ball and let the team down. So, that he plays deep. So
yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think just having more attacking players than Winks on the field would have helped us against Fulham. Like I was saying, someone like Lamela, like Lucas Moura, like Bale. And then the substitutions I thought didn't make sense from Mourinho either. I mean, he did bring on Lamela, but why on earth did he only use 2 subs, and why didn't he bring on Bale? I mean, taking off Dombele but leaving on Sissoko and Højbjerg, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you take off our most attacking center mid and leave on our 2 most defensive center mids when we're trying to get the winning goal? It doesn't make any sense to me. And when you still have an extra sub, I mean, I get why he would take off Dombele. I mean, Dombele's fitness is notoriously not the greatest, but just put attacking players on and they'll create something. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, he should have kept Ndombele on. I mean, yeah, you've seen what he can do when he plays the full 90. I mean, he's got a screamer. Yeah, I think he should have took Sissoko off. He should have took Sissoko off from Lamela. Probably took off Bergwijn. It was Bergwijn playing, I think.
No, he wasn't.
He was playing.
It was Winks, Højbjerg, Sissoko, Dombele, Son, and Kane, who are attacking or are midfield and forwards.
All right. Well, I think I agree that he took off Kane. I'd want to save Kane. Put on Vinicius, Lamela, and Bale for Son, Kane, and Sissoko.
I mean, I would have left Kane on. I would have taken off. I mean, if you really felt like he needed to take Dombele off, I would have taken off Dombele, Winks, and Sissoko, and then because at the end of the day, I'd rather us go all in and try to get that winner, and the game ends 1-1, than us take off Dombele and put on Vinicius and take off Winks and put on Lamela, and then sit back with 2 defensive mids and put on 2 strikers and then have 2 wingers, I guess. But like, if we would have put on Bale for Sissoko, we would have had Lamela who could play as an attacking mid, Bale, Vinicius, Son, and Kane. And I feel like between those 5 players, we must have been able to get a goal. So I don't understand why he wouldn't have put on Bale. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
but moving
on
to the next one. From Interesting Tactics, same old shit. Yeah, I mean, getting really quite tired of scoring early and then conceding late, and the game ends up as a 1-1 draw.
What he said, it's nothing new. I mean, we've heard it before.
Now from, I have no idea. Rob J. Gibson, there we go, 06/2018. Has anyone else noticed when we don't play Tobey, we don't score more than 1 and end up losing or drawing? I think Tobey Alderweireld is an underrated player in our attacking sense. I mean,
this may sound controversial, but he's the best passing centre back in the world.
Yeah, I agree with that. Or he's definitely top 3.
No, he's the best in the world. His diagonal passes are insanely good. I would sign him just for those passes. He can. But as a centre back, he doesn't even need to be defensive. He can create so much. If stick him in midfield, his passes already does more than what Winks does. He's sensational. I mean, some of the passes he does, he goes from one end of the pitch and he can pick out Reguilon from left wing. It's insane. He's incredible.
Yeah, I don't understand why he dropped Alderweireld for Sanchez for this game. Because I think Alderweireld is such an important part of our defense, and then, like I was just saying, he's such an important part of our offense. When I was looking at how many who had the most pre-assists for Spurs this season, it was Alderweireld. So,
correct me if I'm wrong, but Liverpool's next week. Am I right?
Not next week. It's at the end of the month, but it's our next Premier League game.
All right. Well, I think Rodon and Alderweireld's going to be the 2 centre backs.
I don't think he's going to drop Dyer. I mean, I think it should be Rodon and Alderweireld, but he's not going to drop Dyer.
I think he will for this game because, I mean, he'll be saving Sanchez, and Dyer's played 2 games full 90. He's got to give Alderweireld a chance. And then everyone's been hyping up Rodon since the Sheffield game. It's the most realistic, and I'd be surprised if I saw Jose not play the two of them.
Because Liverpool, we don't play Liverpool.
Or you will play a back three with Dyer, Rodon, and Alderweireld.
Mm-hmm. I don't see Dyer not starting against Liverpool because we know Mourinho loves Dyer, and we have what's today's date, 18th. We have 10 days before we play Liverpool, and the only team we play in between that is Wickham in the FA Cup. So I would love for what you're saying to be true and that Alderweireld and Rodon start, but I think it's probably going to end up being Dyer and Alderweireld against Liverpool. But I think it's better to have someone like Alderweireld on the field who's comfortable with the ball at his feet and can hit those long balls to Reguilon on the left or to Bergwijn on the right or just to Kane up top or to Son. So, yeah, it's going to be tricky. But getting into our next comment from Samuel, who's on the pod, thfc.national. Get ready for a load more Mourinho masterclasses when we get a lucky draw against Sheffield United. So we did end up winning the game against Sheffield United, but I get the point he's trying to make. That Mourinho's being a little over celebrated, but I don't think he is. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't really know what to say about that, honestly. Yeah.
Right.
We got the win, so we got the win, so it speaks for itself.
Yeah. All right. From Bart EKKK.
How many more do we
have? Just a couple more.
Right.
_123 just says Sanchez with 3 laughing emojis. I think we've already talked about this, but yeah, he was at fault. And this is basically along the same lines from CZEEKO. Sorry to say that, but Sanchez fucked up the goal. If Tobey will play, I think he wouldn't have allowed the pass. And yeah, I think Tobey is better defensively, so I don't think he would have let the pass through. We've talked about that. From Medi T Habit _official, we're a mid-table team with spirit of beating big clubs. Saying we're a mid-table team is a little dramatic, but we do seem to play better against the big clubs. Sometimes I wish we could just play Man City every week, but
yeah.
And then I think this is the last one from Geo _WEIR 270. I just want Poch back. Right now, if Pochettino was available and he wanted to come back, would you sack Mourinho and bring in Pochettino?
No.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Pochettino was here for 5 years. He had an incredible squad, and we won 0 trophies.
I really don't think that's down to Poch. He's needed these reinforcements, which Levy did not pay. Which Levy did not pay for. But the reason why I wouldn't sack Mourinho now is because Mourinho's still in the middle of building this, his team. He's still got most of Poch's players. He's in the middle of constructing his own team, and within about 5 seasons, if he's still manager, he will have won at least 1 Premier League, and he'll won the Europa League and maybe even the Champions League. I don't know, but he's constructing a very, very good team. And for Poch to come in and just ruin that and just try and restart and
if we brought in Pochettino right now,
it'd fall apart like before and worse.
Yeah, if we brought in Pochettino right now, he'd be playing with the same team he had before he left. But starting lineup wise, he'd be playing with the same team plus Bergwijn, Højbjerg, and Reguilon. So, it wouldn't be that much of a difference from the squad that he was failing with. So I think just we need more time before we bring Pochettino back, because bringing him back now, I think, would just be a recipe for disaster.
Besides, he's doing well for himself in PSG, so.
Yeah. Alrighty. So that's the last of the comments. Anything else you want to add on the Fulham game?
No, it was, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Only thing I want to say is what a cross from Reguilon. I mean, that was pinpoint right on Kane's head.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So let's move right along to the Sheffield United game. The 3-0 win. We finally won. Aurier with the header, Kane putting us 2-0 in front, McGoldrick pulling one back, and less than 3 minutes after that, Dombele with the wonder strike to put us back with that 2-goal advantage. Here, we didn't do it for the Fulham game, but we can do it for the Sheffield United game. Let's do our 3 stars, 2 stars, and 1 star for our 3 best players in the match. I'll start since I just kind of brought this on you, but I will give my 3 to Kane, my 2 to Dombele, and my 1 to Son.
Wait, so who's your man of the match? Son?
Kane. No, Kane.
Oh. No, I don't know. In Dombele will be my man of the match.
Mm-hmm. I'd say for me, Bergwijn would be like in with a shout of being being in there, but I think just Kane, Dombele, and Son were the 3 best today. Not today.
For me, I do Ndombele 3, Joe Rodon 2, Harry Kane 2, and Joe Rodon 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good one. So there's only a couple comments for this one, so we can just get right through it. So from Mr_B_locks, Tanguy Goat with the goat emoji. What a game from him. What a finish.
Yeah,
is that going to be the Puskas?
It was definitely something special.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it'll win the Puskas?
Nah, I don't think it will, but he'll have a good shot.
Yeah, just imagine though if we won the Puskas 2 years in a row, or a player from Spurs won the Puskas 2 years in a row. That'd be crazy. All right, and then from Brooke Marie 14, Rodon needs to play more. I feel like he can protect us from set pieces much better. Yeah, I thought Rodon was exceptional, and I think he is one of our taller center backs. So his aerial, I think he won the most aerial duels in the match in the Sheffield United game. So
this is something I have to mention with Spurs fans, right? Don't get me wrong, I love Spurs fans. I'm one myself, but something we do is infuriating. It's so infuriating is how quickly Spurs fans hop on to stuff. Joe Rodon has one good game. He's the best center. He's one of the best centre backs in the Premier League.
To be fair,
I know, I understand that, but if Joe Rodon had a trash game the next game, people would be like, "Oh no, I don't want playing him anymore."
Yeah, I agree with that. I was just gonna say that to be fair, he has had 3 good games. He played well against Chelsea. It was against 8th Division Marine that he had his other good game against, and he played well against Sheffield. I do agree with you.
What happened to Troy Parrott? He was the most hyped youngster in the youth academy. A year later, and Dane Scholes the talk of the town, and no one's mentioning Troy anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. I understand it's nothing personal, but it's absolutely infuriating how people do this. And especially the thing that annoyed me the most was when people kept on saying, "Sign Milan Skriniar." I've said this so many times. Fabrizio Romano even said on Twitter, "We're not signing Skriniar. We're not signing him in January. The deal's just not going to happen." But Spurs fans still think that it's going to happen. They're like, "Oh no, we want Milan Skriniar. We want Milan Skriniar." And I was like, "How do you know he's even good?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I watched him play." I know that's a lie. It's just he's a player that got hyped up by the media, so Spurs fans thought, "Oh yeah, he must be a good player." Then it got to a point where I ended up just deleting deleting comments on my post of people saying, "Oh yeah, we want Skriniar." It was infuriating.
Yeah, I do agree though that it's not just Spurs fans. I mean, it's every fan base, but just jumping on the bandwagon of we want Skriniar in one case, or a player has a bad game, like Bergwijn, and then everyone is like, I'll get Bergwijn out of my club. Or Aurier makes one mistake in a match, and before the game, I mean, Spurs fans were talking about how he was the best right back in the league this season, and then he made that mistake against Leicester, and now a lot of people are asking for him to be sold this summer. So I think that it's just that social media, it's reactive, but I mean, there's always the fans that are gonna stick with the players, and I mean, even if people are saying that they want Aurier out of the club or they want Bergwijn out of the club, I mean, they're fans. They're just they want what's best for the club, and that's how they think is the best way to achieve it. But getting back into the Sheffield United game, what did you think of the formation, the 3-4-3?
It seems to be working for us. I mean, I said it a while ago that I wanted us to play the formation. I think we play well with the formation, and we have been playing well with the formation. No, I can't complain. I'm real. It's what I wanted earlier on. When I first started the pod, I openly said at the start of the season, it's what I wanted. I wanted us to play this formation. We're now finally playing it, and we're winning games, and we're doing well. So I like it. I don't know about other Spurs fans, but I like it. I'm happy we're playing it, and I hope we continue to.
Yeah. I mean, I like the 3-4-3. We played really well with it in the season where we finished second with 86 points under Pochettino. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good formation. The only thing I would change is putting in maybe Alderweireld for Ben Davis, but I think Mourinho just wants that left-footed left center back. So but yeah, I think that's just about all I have to say about the Sheffield game. Anything to add to the Sheffield game?
No, not really.
All right. Anything to add before we wrap up the pod?
Do you not want to preview Liverpool?
Oh yeah. Well, let's preview Wickham because that's our next game. How confident are you feeling heading into the Wickham game?
We should win.
Yeah, we should win 100,000%. I don't think there's much else to say on that, to be honest. But it's going to be a game where I feel like they're going to sit back. They're going to look to hit us on the counter. I think the only other time we played them was we beat them 4-3 in 2017. We had to score. I think we scored a goal in the 89th minute and then a goal in the 90th minute. We were losing 3-2. So we do have to be cautious of their threats. Akinfenwa obviously is one of the biggest and strongest players in the game. So we'll have to match someone who can really take him in terms of strength. And then hopefully some of our youngsters, the ones who are left at the club who haven't been loaned out, will get some minutes. But I think Jedson Fernandez might get some minutes. I think he's going to stay at the club now, following his. He was on the bench against Sheffield United, and Dele Alli wasn't there, and then he was, and then Harvey White was loaned out. So I think that will keep him just for that extra midfield cover. So I think he's getting some minutes.
Do you want to do predicted lineups?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to say Joe Hart is going to start in goal. We'll see. I think Ben Davis at left back, Rodon and Tanganga at center back, Doherty at right back, Winks and Jedson, and then Lamela as an attacking mid. Then we'll see Bale on the right, Vinicius is forward, and then I'm not sure who's going to play on the left, but I guess we'll see some start. I guess.
I think we're going to play a 4-2-3-1. I think we're going to see Hart, Davies. I think we're going to see Alderweireld and Sanchez or Rodon.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to see Matt Doherty.
You don't think we're going to see Tanganga?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think he's match fit.
You don't think so? I think he was on the bench against. All right, never mind. Keep going.
I think we're not good. I think we're going to play Winks, Sissoko, and maybe Lamela or Jedson.
Mm-hmm.
Then Bale, Vinicius and either Mora or Son.
Yeah. All right. I think that's the lineup that should get the job done. And then I think we'll have Kane and Dombele and all those danger players on the bench just in case. But I mean, ultimately, we should be we should be one of the favorites to win this competition. So we should breeze through this game and then set ourselves up to play against Liverpool, I think 3 or 4 days later. So, yeah. Anything to
add? No.
All righty. Well, thank you for listening. This has been another episode of Spurs This Week. Remember to follow us on Instagram so that we can review your comment. It's called Spurs This Week on Instagram. No underscores or any dots or anything, just all together, all lowercase. I was joined by Bodhi today from Hotspur.industry, and I'm, of course, Toby from _Spurs Center, all on Instagram. And Bodhi just made a Twitter, so you should go follow him on that as well. All right. Well, thank you for listening, and come on, you Spurs.
How long was that?